Very good morning to all of you.
Yes, we can.
And Kapil, thanks for having me on the show. Very excited and looking forward to a great discussion. So, DX Punctuated, that's the topic that Kapil has given me to talk about. So, I have made some notes coming to this, and so there are three parts that I'm going to talk about on this. One is that a brief about myself and the company that I lead. Then we'll go to the business scenario currently, especially the purchase behavior and a few interesting insights that I have seen on that. And then we'll go to our customer landscape and how they are reacting to it. And at the end, I would take you guys through what we as a micro SME is doing to survive in this particular scenario, and how do we see the future. So starting with my role in Silfra Technologies, I'm one of the co-founders and I'm the CEO of Silfra Technologies. In my role, primarily, I look at sales, business development, and partnerships. So what you're going to hear today will be more on the outward facing, but I'll also bring in some tidbits on our internal reorganization and some of the process changes that we are doing to actually embrace this scenario as well as accentuate the digital transformation within the company and also helping our customers. A brief about Silfra Technologies. We are in our 5th year. We are primarily an IT services agency. And like Kapil said, we deal with 3 areas. One is data science, the other one is RPA or robotic process automation, and the third one is digital transformation on the more traditional side, that is social, mobile, and cloud. We are 25 people on the roles, plus the management and the board. So around 30 people you can say are currently part of the Silfra family. As I already mentioned, we are a micro SME trying to get to the SME. We're trying to cross that threshold, which was our plan on the 5th year. With the crisis coming in, it may be a little, I would say, impacted, but hopefully we'll get there in next 12 to 18 months. Why I'm saying all this is what you hear from me for the rest of the session will be a perspective that is coming from an MSME. And there is another very interesting aspect that I want to share here to put in context the entire conversation is that our customers today are primarily India. So 95% of the customers that we have are from India. So the perspective that you're going to get is very, very Indian. Okay. And interestingly, we operate in 2 very diametrically opposite segments. One is very, very large scale customers who are in the turnover range of 20,000 crores and startups, which many of them are bootstrapped and some of them are funded. And none of them have turnover today of more than 50 crores. We don't incidentally have any customer today who is in the medium enterprise scale or medium to large kind of sizes. And there are historic reasons for that. I will not go into that because it will take a detour from our primary objective here, which is digital transformation punctuated. So this is about Silfra and our customer segments and my role. And next, also I want to make a little segue into the purchasing behavior that I see, especially in last 2 quarters. And this again is very, very important to understand the digital transformation journey that we are seeing across our customers. So the first thing that I have seen is that the sales cycle has become even longer. And I think primarily, at least for my personal opinion, that is because of our inability to meet face to face. And this has been impacting us, and I have heard from my other colleagues as well as other entrepreneurs that this has been really impacting our new customer acquisition. For existing customers, again, it is delaying decision making, so sales cycles are becoming longer. There are a lot of scrutiny in terms of existing engagements. ROIs are being calculated, and for any new initiatives, again, the questions and scrutinies and the levels of reviews have gone up really, I would say around 50 to 70%, especially on the larger companies. Why I'm saying this is also interestingly, as I mentioned, we have seen that we earlier, I would say maybe up until we hit the calendar year, had more than 60% of our revenue coming from data science projects. But currently, as on July, that has shifted to digital transformation. So we have a lion's share of projects coming on digital transformation. So to the point that Kapil made earlier in this call, I think digital transformation is on. It is accelerated. And there are several reasons to it, but I think better ROI, getting more from the buck, cutting costs while maintaining same level of operation and response and quality. These are three primary drivers for embracing further digital transformation. So I talked of our perspective, I talked of the current scenario in terms of purchase behavior. Now let me go into the two segments that we work on and how they are, what they are doing, and whether in my assessment the digital transformation landscape is changing. The large scale people, they are doing very interesting stuff. Firstly, I'd say the workplace of future. I think a lot of people anticipated, and their workplaces are moving. So all our on-site deployments have now become remote. Didn't have much financial impact for us. However, I think that was a cost-saving method for them, and they have released much of their real estate. Second is the remote access or remote connectivity has become very, very key. So much of investments have happened for them to increase capacity for remote connectivity, as well as for us, the partners who are supporting them. We had to purchase software and tools to enable us to be on their network and online all the time. The third thing there, data and data protection has become even more important now, especially the data in transit. So data encryption and related tools have assumed more importance than ever. Collaboration is the fourth thing. We had invested, and these people are investing very heavily on collaboration tools, be it real-time communication, video conferencing, file sharing, screen sharing, and many other stuff, chat. And these are more, I would say, for the internal processes. I have not yet gotten to the external side of it. The next trend that I see is that digital labor that is coming to a fore. There were trends which were picking up on that in terms of automation and chat. But many of our customers have pruned down on their contact center and human interaction and replaced those with automated replies and chat. So again, more embracing of digital technologies. So as I said, this is about the larger companies. There are several other finer nuances that I can speak of, but at a high level, this is what we have seen. Now let's come to the startups, the micro and small businesses. Very interesting things are happening here. Firstly, on startups, I see that there is not much of a change for the startups who are surviving. And luckily, none of the ones that we engage with had been majorly impacted. And main reason for that is at least 90% of them are still not on a revenue cycle. I mean, they are working on their MVP and improving on that, and they have some funding either from the founders or from the VCs, the angels, and they are continuing. Will this continue for long? We don't yet know. But there is another segment in this micro which has come up and which has really surprised us, is brick and mortar trying to get into online. And that has been a real eye-opener for me, that a lot of chains and shops which were like maybe 10 crores, 5 crores turnover, as they see their footfalls into their brick and mortar operations go down, they are trying to get a new avenue through online to sell their merchandise. We are seeing this happening for some larger stores like grocery stores, for nursery businesses which are selling plants. We are seeing this for gift articles, and there is an explosion of people who want to come online. So for those, it is a real accentuated and very, very, I would say, very intense activity going, and the race to come online and digital transformation is what they want to do. If I sum all of these, what my perspective today is that there is heightened digital transformation that's happening all across. However, there is one counter, or I would say one point that I have seen and which I want to bring in, is that if I compare the revenue that we generated or the spend that our customers did for the same level of digital transformation last year, I think that's down by on an average 30%. What that means is, for every rupee spent, the customer is expecting around 30 to 35% more ROI. So while there is heightened activity on constant rupee terms, I would say the digital transformation services as well as products revenue, at least in the ones that we have got involved, has come down. I feel this may be temporary. This may go on for next 2-3 quarters till we settle on from the crisis. However, I also feel that this leads to bigger opportunities for everyone who is playing in this market, in terms of grabbing the opportunities at I would say below par cost today, and hanging on to those relationships so that when the things improve again, we can get into margins which were more, I'd say, more palatable for each of us. At the end, I would say what we are doing at Silfra, we also have done some digital transformation. We invested in collaboration tools. We invested in, learning management process, and currently we are in evaluation for a learning management tool. We understand the necessity for digital reskilling because now more than ever, our customers are demanding top-notch skills from us, and we need to do that. So we are making some investment there. we are making investment on hardware so that our people get more powerful machines and they can continue to work from home and they don't have to really depend on the servers which are there in our offices. We are investing on cloud so that we don't have to venture into our offices too often, and everything can remain virtual. And the last but not the least is that we are keeping the family intact, in the sense that while there are investments and there is a big I'd say impact on the margin, we have kept our workforce unchanged and the family remains as is. So our perspective is that digital transformation is going to continue. It is going to be heightened. The revenue out of the digital transformation in near term will dip. However, it will stabilize in probably 2 to 3 quarters and then look up from there. For each of us at this scale and even beyond, I think the game is to survive a long term. So we need to preserve as much cash, we need to preserve as much working capital as possible in this lending constraint scenario. So while the lending and the cash are limited, the opportunities remain unlimited. So let's not lose hope and work even harder. Thank you.